Alright, so what is Plex? If you have a collection of movies and TV shows in your personal library, there's hardly a better way to manage it than Plex. Like the similar library app Kodi, Plex gives you an attractive interface to browse or search your shows to find something to watch. But its key feature is in letting you stream your own content from your computer to any device you own and even share that library with others. Unlike video streaming services like Netflix or Hulu, Plex is a bring your own media kind of affair. If you have your own digital copies of movies or shows, you can store them on a desktop computer or NAS that's always connected to the internet. Then, with the Plex app on your phone or TV, you can stream those videos to almost any device. Alright, to sum it up, Plex allows you to build your own network server that consists of your movies, TV shows, music, pictures, and of the latest few rounds of updates, podcasts, as well as live TV. Plex can be streamed through most smart devices, TVs, phones, tablets, Rokus, Amazon Fire Sticks, and others. It's really an awesome way to store, organize, and view your media. Alright, before you jump into this, there's a few things to consider. First, you'll need a computer to build your Plex server. Some people have whole computers or NAS setups completely dedicated to running their Plex server. Me, myself, I use my personal computer. But in my case, I have the storage capacity at the moment to do so. If I were starting from scratch, I'd at least want 2 hard drives or solid state drives, your preference, but SSDs are faster and a bit more reliable as of lately. One drive would be for your OS, the other for the actual Plex media, i.e. your movies, shows, and music. If you're able to go above and beyond, I'd even recommend the third HD for the Plex metadata alone. Metadata is things like previews, descriptions, resume points, thumbnails, posters, backgrounds, and other things needed by Plex to make your media appealing and as digestible as possible. You'd be surprised how quick your metadata can grow as your library expands. Quick tip from my experience. If you're starting out with a build from scratch, you may definitely want to do a bit of future proofing and get a case that can hold multiple hard drives. As your library grows and your demand for space increases, you'll want to be able to quickly add new hard drives without having to upgrade your whole entire system. Alright, so let's go over a few requirements. Running Plex Media Server on a desktop computer is a very popular option. This allows you to choose your operating system and you have flexibility in your computer components. CPU requirements can vary dramatically depending on how exactly you want to use Plex, which particular Plex apps you'll be using, properties of your media, how many people will be using Plex at the same time, and more. As a minimum, the Plex website recommends an Intel Core i3 equivalent or faster. But note this, while Plex Media Server can install and run on a computer with a slower processor, you might not have a very good experience depending on your usage. Generally speaking, any modern computer should meet that minimum. However, if you have multiple people accessing content simultaneously and you will sometimes require transcoding of content during the playback, you may need something faster than the minimum. If your computer's CPU is not powerful enough to keep up with transcoding your media, you will notice pausing or buffering as the app waits for the server to catch up. Another note, Plex Media Server doesn't require large amounts of RAM. 2 GB of RAM is typically more than sufficient in some installs, particularly Linux-based, can run with even less. Of course, more RAM won't hurt you and will certainly be helpful if you're doing other things on the computer. Alright, so enough with all the technical formalities. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is a bit of a walkthrough on getting started with Plex in general. I'm going to start off by checking some of my hard drive space to make sure that there's enough room to download the setup. Oh, it's a lot of red going on here, but don't judge me, guys. I know it looks bad, but I actually have an external that's not hooked up at the moment with a lot of space. I'm sure I have enough space on one of these drives to get the program installed. So I'm going to go to the actual Plex website itself. Alright, right here is going to be your sign up page, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's right there. But since I already have one created, I'm just going to click right here on launch. And once you do your setup and your install, do your email address and everything like that, it's going to pop up for you the same way. And then what we're going to do is go over here to account and get Plex apps. All right. Once at this page, what you're going to do is pick whichever operating system you use, and in my case, it's going to be Windows. So we'll download. For the sake of this video, I'll go ahead and start the download. And once your download is complete, I use the download manager, so it may look a little different for me than it does for you. Just going to open that up, install, yes. All right, once that installation has been completed, you're going to notice a launch now button, and what's going to happen is you're going to go down here, and you'll notice that Plex icon right there. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and open Plex up. And the first thing you're going to notice is some of that free content that comes with Plex. And they have it all nice and categorized over here. So there's things like movies and shows that already come with Plex just off the bat. It's all free content. This is just the free subscription. Nothing here is paid for. And they also have the live TV available, so there's a few channels on there that might be worth checking out if you get a minute, which is pretty awesome, I believe, personally. And I believe that with if you hook up an antenna to your system, that you can even access some of the local channels. But if not, there's also world news available. So yeah, I mean, just downloading and installing the software and running Plex itself, you get all kind of free good content. And I forgot to mention that when you start up Plex, you're going to have a quick walkthrough. And it's just going to be a basic setup installation guide, a bunch of click next. But what it's going to do is, and I'm going to go right here to settings to get where you will be. It's going to tell you to set up your library and your server. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to get over here to add library. Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to backtrack for a minute. I'm going to pause right here and step away for a second. I'm going to go back to my hard drives and just a quick glimpse of one of my setups. We can go right over here to organize. And here I have all my categorized by certain types. My father and mother love Medea movies, so I have a Medea category in movies. And I had them selected by sound quality. Different situations and for how I like them. But to simplify a little bit, I also have another hard drive with just movies on it, and we can use this as a starting point. So what you want to do is you want to create a folder, in this case movies for me, where you would put your movies or your media content in for Plex to locate. So here we have movies. And Plex does a pretty good job of breaking down and organizing these movies, but you kind of want to be as descriptive as possible when you are downloading. So with that said, we're going to go back to where we were. Now we're going to add movies, select type movies, and for the sake of not confusing my client too much, I'm just going to put movies 2. Next. This is where we're going to go find that folder where I just showed you, which is P, movies. And we can just add that folder. Add to library. And as you can see right here, it's adding in the process of adding movies to. We're going to go back and get a little sneak peek at them adding. And this is Plex adding the movies to the library. As you can see, it's already creating the wallpapers and descriptions and making them nice and organized. This is where that metadata I spoke of earlier comes into play. And note, this is all purchased and ripped content, which is what you're going to be wanting to do unless you know something I don't know, is ripping your media content to PC so that it can make it nice and compatible and easy for Plex to recognize. All right, just a quick walk back to the home screen for a second, and we're going to step back. And once you see, it only takes a quick sec for all the movies to pretty much get updated to Plex. Well, it definitely varies depending on how many you're trying to upload at a time. But here we go. And this is the page for the movie. Gives you a nice little description of the movie, as well as who's in it. A few reviews, a few extras. Even recommends some of the music that is from the soundtrack. So it's pretty cool. That's just the Plex pre-roll. I can do a video on those later, but those are like different intros and setups you can have for the actual movie starts playing. It's pretty cool. All kind of little things you can find and download. And just for the sake of this video, I can go ahead and do one more real quick. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my File Explorer. And I'm going to go to my dedication. And I'm going to create a new folder. Just going to name that one Shows. And I'm going to paste one of my shows, one of the Blu-rays that I ripped. Alright, to save some time, I'm not going to copy every single one of the episodes because it's a pretty big Blu-ray. But now that that's here, we're going to go back. I'm going to go back over here to this setting. And that's my DVD. Back to Manage Libraries. We're going to add a new library. This time we're going to add some TV shows. And we're going to add that folder that we just created, which was Shows. And now we're going to add that. Add to library. You can see it's starting to kick off. And what I'm going to do now is go back to home so I can catch it. And it's in the process of loading. And there we have it. And in TV shows, it's a little bit different. It really breaks it down by each episode. So you click on each episode and get a quick description and the information from it. So it's a really, really awesome way to organize your media files. The great thing about the Plex application is once you have all your media organized, is the various different devices that's available to download the application on to stream your content. Most of the new hardware out there seems to have the Plex application available for download. With the exception of mobile, I know you need a premium service to access your content through your phone when you're away from home, but I'm pretty sure it's accessible through the Wi-Fi. A few perks that the premium service offer is the ability to sync your movies, shows, music, and photos to your mobile devices for offline enjoyment wherever you go. Advanced settings such as the ability to unlock the power to set extra sharing restrictions and allow access to select premium features for shared users. Keep tabs on your service from your desktop with Dashboard or on the go using the Plex Dash. Set max upload bandwidth and per stream caps to ensure the best streaming service. And hardware transcoding, which I definitely recommend by using the dedicated video decoder and encoder hardware supporting your computer/device to convert videos and stream HD and 4K video more smoothly to more devices at once. So here are the premium packages. I'd definitely say, try Plex out first to see if it's for you before you decide to invest in one of these packages. Me, myself, I've been doing the monthly package for longer than I should have. I probably would have saved money by now if I'd have just got the annual. But I might go with the lifetime because I think it's worth it. But you go at your own pace. Do what's best for you. Well, that about does it for now. I had a few people asking me to tell them a little bit about my Plex setup. So this video was pretty much meant to be an introduction to Plex, as well as a little bit of a walkthrough on how to get started. There's a lot more features and things to get into that I didn't go over. I may do a few more Plex videos in the future. Let me know in the comments if there's something you guys might be interested in seeing. And of course, if you like this video, go ahead and show some love by hitting that like button. And subscribe as well to catch all the other content I have coming your way. As always, thanks for stopping by.